Okay, once again, we're at Mummy's Head. This is the second attempt. And what I learned last time is do not try to go up this because it is a dead end box canyon. Rather, this is the direction to go. And last time, from this wide parking area on Lee Canyon Road, which is right here, from this wide parking area, I went up Lee Canyon Road to Avalanche Trail Road. And I took a left on Avalanche Trail Road. And I think that was part of my problem, because that, even though there was road, and that gave me more of an access without just navigating wilderness, that the problem with that was that it led me up to this box canyon. Right under the, what I call the land that time forgot, this little forest up here. Love to be in there, but I don't think that I could ever ascend that cliff. Anyway, so instead, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to head straight up through this area from this parking area and shoot for this opening. And let's just see what happens. Let's see what the world looks like up there, and if there are some approaches to Mummy's Head. Now, yeah, it looks like there might be. You see that there's a V there, and you could go in either direction. Eventually, I want to go in both directions, but the true Mummy's Head is going to be to the right or south. So there you've got an idea of the overall strategy for today. Let's go ahead and go for it. Yes, there is a wash to deal with just below Lee Canyon Road. However, it's not too difficult. And the good thing about this is we have a straight shot, hopefully, right up this gully ahead. Now we'll be looking into the sunrise. That could be a problem because that blinds you from seeing what's ahead when you have to make decisions about your route. But yeah, we just deal with that. Okay, just past that wash, and here is a good sign. Looks like we've got some cairns. And these may have been placed by people who have preceded me heading up to Mummy's Head. So let's see if there could possibly be a path of cairns that's going to lead us all the way up to Mummy's Head. Here we go. And here just above that last cairn, which is right down here, just above that last cairn, there's what looks like a little trail. So these are the kinds of signs I was not seeing before, which are very, very hopeful. Let's continue on. Yes, and by the way, we're faced immediately after Lee Canyon Road in that wash with a monster avalanche slope. So yeah, this is wasting no time in ascending. But there should be a road up ahead. We'll check that out too. Okay, onward. And even though this is indeed a monster avalanche slope, this trail is just winding upward, making it very easy to ascend. Though it is very steep, at least there's some good footing, and I can see the Mummy's Head area straight in front of us. So let's see what things look like on top of this ridge. Okay, so here so far is the quick summary of how we got to where we are. We're at the top of this first avalanche slope. Lee Canyon Road is immediately below, and that wide spot parking area on the right or the west side of the road is just about a mile past the intersection of Lee Canyon Road and Deer Creek Road. So I parked there and then head straight up the slope toward Mummy's Head. And you can see, looking in this direction, there is the North Sister and the Black Rock Sister. So we headed straight up. We crossed a pretty substantial wash, but it was not difficult to cross. Immediately on the other side of the wash, there was a cairn, and I continued straight up at that point. And you can see it is straight up. I continued and found a little trail that made this slope very easy. And so now here we are at the top of this slope. It seems that there should be, I'm going to look for evidence of another trail that would continue on, or some kind of a marking, but our goal is the V between those two high points. So let's continue on up and see what we can see. Here we go. Okay, there's a wash that I reached when I first ascended that huge slope after Lee Canyon Road. There's a wash to my right or north. There is, a ridge to my right, or south. I gotta get everything straight here. And there is a wash to my left or north. And normally I like the ridges, but in this case, I'm going to choose the wash. I didn't see any signs of a trail on the ridge, and that wash seems to lead straight up to the V. So I'm going to go ahead, and in this case, I'm going to select the wash and continue to ascend, and we'll see if that was a good decision. Yeah, the reason I chose the wash also is that viewing this area from above at Black Rock Sister seemed that I wanted to hug the edge of this wash, that is the north edge of this wash, and use that as a way to guide myself upward. I'm still not seeing anything that resembles a cairn or a trail. So we'll see. It does look like there's a nice pathway here. We're headed straight up to the V, but we just don't know yet. By the way, this is the last Sunday in September. My starting temperature was 53 degrees. I'm thinking that the days are numbered where we can make these high altitude adventures in the Mount Charleston wilderness. So what is going to happen is we're going to start going lower, and I'm thinking Rainbow Mountains maybe Hualapai, Potosi, La Madre. I don't know, but we need to drop down to 8,000 and then shortly after that to the 5,000 or 6,000 foot area. 8,000 being Potosi, Hualapai, La Madre. 5,000 or 6,000, maybe 7,000 being the Rainbow Mountains. And then after that we'll drop down as winter comes on. We'll drop down further, and probably the Sheep Range and the far eastern portion of Fossil Ridge. Eventually we're going to find ourselves in the lower desert of the Lake Mead area. Maybe another visit or two to Death Valley. Big Dune would be a great one. That's on 95 North past Indian Springs. Really cool place. I have not been there yet, but it looks like a big dune. So there are a lot of low desert places to explore and continue to experience the, about 70 degrees average. It's today, even though it was 53 starting out, it's predicted to be 96 degrees in the Las Vegas Valley. So we still got a good day up here in the Mount Charleston Wilderness. Okay, onward. Okay, remember I said there was a road up here? This is actually the continuation of that road that I saw in the first exploration, and there was a barrier that said private road. So this is that road. I decided to head up at that barrier, and that was my mistake. That led me into the box canyon. On the other hand, I just crossed the road here and continue straight up this gully. So continuing on. By the way, let's just get a quick 360. This is looking north, and then looking across and basically straight down. On the way back, I'll probably use the Sisters North as a guiding point and just stay to the right of Sisters North on the way down. That should lead me right back to the parking area. And then here's the road going south. And here's the gully slope going up. And yes, that was a good decision to head down a bit into the gully, because that ridge would have led me up toward that box canyon, I believe. Instead, the gully kept me on course for Mummy's Head. Here we go. Okay, up this road, just a little north or left, I saw out of the corner of my eye what looked like it could be a little trail. There was no pathway where I was headed if I had continued straight up. But just about, 50, 75, 100 feet north up that little road was what looked like a trail. And if this is indeed the makings of a trail or a pathway, this could be a way through the brush and a guiding path up to Mummy's Head, or I could be off route. We don't know, but let's play around with this little trail for a bit. Yes, this is definitely a little trail. In fact, it looks like it could actually be an old road. And it is leading upward. I'll take it as far as it looks as if it's going in the direction I want to go. It is veering off a little bit to the left or north. My goal is there. That's the V at the base of Mummy's Head. And this little road or trail, it's heading up in this direction. So let's just continue using it. Definitely a good pathway through the wilderness without having to do a lot of weaving around brush. Well, it looked like I was faced with a gully here where that road ended, but actually it was just a washout. I crossed that washout and it looks like I'm back on what looks like a trail. Now, from Black Rock Sister, the terrain looked like there was a large avalanche slope to the left or north, and then that channeled between a couple cliffs, which I believe are right up ahead. We don't know for sure. I believe the avalanche slope may be through these trees, but we need to channel right up in this direction. So let's just play with this trail / road and see if it is leading where we want to go. Looks like it's going in a circular route, making kind of a crescent, not heading straight up to that V, but maybe the reason it doesn't is because the terrain is much more broken up if you go in a straight beeline to the V. Continuing upward, and the trail / old road is actually holding up. I think it's looking more like a trail at this point, but there's the V up ahead through the trees. So we're making kind of a wide berth around the northern edge of the gully over here. But wow, we're on what so far has been a very nice trail. Definitely unmarked. This is looking down the hill. There's a shot of North Sister. I think they call it Sisters North. So yeah, and there is that avalanche slope I saw from above. So yes, we are right in the channel that I saw from Sisters North and Black Rock Sister above. And we're also verified that yes, there is what looks like a little trail here. So this is pretty cool. There's the V up ahead. So could we actually be heading on a great path toward Mummy's Head? We don't know, but let's continue. Okay, here's an interesting spot that I wanted to point out. Yeah, the trail / road continues. Maybe it's up here. Maybe it goes this direction. Things are getting a little sketchy at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and head for the V. Now, what I understand is some people talk about going up to the Mummy's Head area and then circling around to the north and making a circuit and coming down the other side And if they do, this would be the return route here. So yeah, and it looks almost like there are two routes, one going up toward the V and one coming down from this area. So yeah, we'll explore this a lot more before we're done. Maybe not everything today, but at least we'll get a look at an area at the base of Mummy's Head that we did not reach before. And I think I'm actually already, without any effort, above that box canyon, or above the altitude of that box canyon that I'd reached last time I was here a couple of weeks ago. So this is looking very good. If there is an official route to Mummy's Head, I think I'm on it. Let's get a 360-degree view here. And definitely in the forest, but as you look straight ahead, yes, that looks like a trail or an old road. I'm thinking now trail. So let's go ahead and continue up straight for that V. Okay, there across Lee Canyon is a shot of Sisters south to the left, Sisters north to the right. And this is indeed looking like that area I saw from above. And maybe you can see it in some of my pictures where there is this kind of smooth avalanche slope right here. And there is a bit of a channel that leads up to the V, which is straight ahead. And so now we're going to veer a little bit more to the right and continue on up. I'm looking for cairns or signs of a trail. I think I'm on something still, but yeah, not seeing anything that is indicating human passage, other than you look really closely at the rocks here, and it does look like there's enough of a disturbance that could be people walking through this area. So I may still be on the path. We'll see. Okay, I'm to the left or south of this gully. I mean, north. Get my directions mixed up here. So there's the gully. And I'm north of the gully. Now, I could be down in the gully, but I think I would be ducking and climbing over lots of downed logs, and there would be boulders down there. This slope here is, it's, traversing a loose rocky slope, so it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I think it's easier than the gully. So I'm going to continue this wide berth to the left or north of the gully down there, and continuing to head toward the V. And you can't totally see it here because of the trees, but here's a good shot of that area that I call the land that time forgot, the little forest up in the divot in the cliff up there. Let's zoom in. Yeah, there it is. That is really cool. That's just caught my fascination. Look at that. There's a little forest up there that is totally isolated with cliffs on either side. So, wow. Okay. Onward up this gully, or the ridge just north of it. Okay, this slope north of the gully is getting a little steep and slick. So I'm going to head over to the gully. And it looks like it's easier going actually up here. And it looks like whoever was on the slope before made this same decision, because I see just a slightest indication that somebody has decided to head down to the gully at this point. Now it may be good that I wasn't in the gully sooner. Maybe it would have been a little brutal with everything to dodge, but I don't know. Maybe we'll try the gully on the way down. We can always ascend to the slope above. So onward we go, straight down into this gully. The gully wash actually isn't so bad, and it is heading straight up to the V. So things are looking good. So far, everything has been pretty much an optimal choice in this route. And by the way, as I look down the gully, the boulders are much larger, and it looks like there's a lot more to dodge. So it may not have been a bad idea to skirt that gully to the north on this loose rock slope. But it looks like this is the point where it's time to be in the wash and continue on upward. And here's a deceptive little thing. It looks like I've done a lot of ascent here, and I'm approaching Mummy's Head. I just flipped over my altitude watch and it's saying 8,400. Mummy's Head has got to be around 11,000, between 10 and 11,000. So wow, it looks like we're almost there, but we are really about 2,000, 2,500 feet below Mummy's Head, even at this point. Long way to go. And a lot of surprises up ahead. Well, I just ascended the ridge to the right or south of that wash. And good thing I did, because, well, the washes may actually converge up ahead, but it looks to me like there is an even larger wash route a little further south here. You see it directly below. So I don't know if this ridge is the best way or this other wash below is better. There is that land that time forgot forest up surrounded by the cliffs. So I don't know. Look at this. Interesting. There's the V we're looking for. So let's just continue on up this area and see what we can discover here. Things are looking a little cliffy up ahead, so that should be interesting. Looks like there is. I think that's the area that I was in last time that just seemed like it was leading me to a cliff dead end. So I'm going to continue up this wash and see if that V straight ahead, which looked like a pathway from above on the North Sister, if that is indeed a pathway up toward Mummy's Head. Okay, just to the south, here's another even more wicked wash. Hope I don't need to descend into this and then reascend on the other side. But yeah, my goal is straight up to that V. So we shall see. Things are getting pretty cliffy up ahead. So number of surprises I know that will be facing us. And by the way, yeah, this is what the sides of the wash / canyon we are in look like. Yeah, that's to the south, and that does bear totally. It looks exactly like the image that we saw from Sisters North, and here's looking to the north. And so, yeah, we are right in the channel that should be the correct channel, and we need to head for that V up ahead. So I think we're on course. If we don't have to handle this wash, maybe it'll be less dramatic a little further up. Here's some good news. That wash with the tall sides, which is below, it did become less dramatic up here. And you can see I was on that slope just to the north or right of the wash as you're looking down. And there's Sisters North and Black Rock Sister. I now can angle over into the wash, and it looks like there's yet another wash to my south. But yeah, this looks like a potential way up, and there's that V. So we are right on course according to what I saw from below. It just depends on how rocky and steep that area is at the base of the V up ahead. We definitely don't want to be on the other side of this area, which is where I believe I was last time and got into a dead-end situation. I think this is where I need to be. Not sure. Let's just find out. Okay, things are getting a little bit rugged in this wash. One thing that I can say is that I'm not seeing any signs anyone's been here before. So I don't think I'm any longer on a regular trail. That's the understatement of the century. But I know that where I need to be is up in that V. And I need to work my way through this direction. Maybe on the way down things will be more clear. I think I may be one wash too far north. And whatever is on the other side of that ridge may be the main route. I don't know. That could be the dead end I experienced last time. But it looks like whatever's on the other side of that ridge, just to the south of this wash, connects with this wash up ahead and then continues on up to the V. So we shall see. Let's get a 360-degree view. Yeah, this is truly a rugged route. So hopefully on the way down I'll find something that's a little easier than this. But for now, this is what we have. So let's continue on up toward the V. Okay, one wash south of that last one I was in that had all the wicked trees that had fallen and boulders. This looks a little more friendly. So let's continue on up this little wash. Let's look around. We could always ascend to the ridge above, but I'm not thinking I want to do that just yet, even though it looks very easy. And you can see what we've been through. Boy, that's pretty wicked below us, but this is looking much better. So let's continue on up this way for a while. And just a note about my strategy this time, different than last time. Last time I was starting up some washes a little further south and working my way across northward, and I got caught in a box. This time I started up at the very northern part of this ridge with the cliffs. And then when I encountered the washes, I began to navigate across washes to the south as I ascended. I think that is a better strategy than before because it does keep me more on track toward the V and away from the box canyon dead ends that are further south. So this strategy is working out, and I am continuing upward toward Mummy's Head and that V. I always find that it's easier descending than ascending because the route just seems so much more clear, and that may be the case today. And so what I guess I'm saying is that we'll understand the best route on the way down more likely than on the way up. Well, hallelujah, a cairn. There it is. That's a lonely cairn. I don't see any sign of additional cairns, but it lets me know at least that this wash, this area that I'm in, is part of some route. Whoever put this cairn here, how they got here, and where they went after the cairn, unless they stayed in the wash, is not really clear. They may have come down from this ridge above to the south, or maybe they came all the way up this wash. We'll probably find out on the return trip, but at least the cairn marks part of a route. We'll just have to really look at the landscape and the soil around us to see if there is evidence of any human passage beyond this cairn and where they went. Okay, going pretty much by instinct here. I could stay in this wash, fight all these boulders, or I could ascend to this ridge, and I think it descends back into the wash. I don't know. I know that the direction I want to go is right up this wash, but another complicating factor here is that the sun is just beginning to rise, which is going to blind me to the big picture moving forward. So that should be an interesting little factor. But yeah, I think I'm going to ascend this ridge and traverse the middle of the ridge on upward and therefore miss the wash. We'll see. Hopefully it'll descend again into the wash area because I know I need to be heading that direction toward the V, and this ridge looks like it may not be going there. We don't know. It's all just trying to figure out different possibilities here. On the other hand, maybe the thing to do is be on the other side, the left or north side of the wash. I don't know. I guess I can weave around back and forth, but it gets increasingly hard to descend into the wash the higher you go here, and to try both the north and the south sides above the wash So let's just keep on going up toward the V, take this ridge for a little while, just if nothing else, just so I can see what's around us. Okay, onward. Well, this is quite the monster little slope up to this ridge, and maybe back at that cairn, the cairn was saying go up to the ridge. We don't know. On the way back we will see, but yeah, one thing that I can say is that there is a little trail up here on the center of this ridge, so that's a good sign. We found the first signs of real human passage beyond that lone cairn. The sun is warming things up a bit. It was getting down toward, below 40 degrees, even though 96 degrees in the Las Vegas Valley today. This may be the final trip in the Mount Charleston wilderness this season. I don't know. Yeah, you look around. High walls on either side. Another couple thousand feet up there. We are closing in on 9,000, and you can see the bristlecone pines beginning to appear at this altitude. And there up ahead is what looked from below like an opening, and we shall see. Yeah, looking straight into the sun, so that's going to make things a little difficult as far as looking at the large picture of this route. But here you can see to our north the cliffs. So we are in the correct channel. Let's continue up this trail, see if it's going to guide us in a good direction. More good signs. Another cairn. So we're on to something. We don't know what, but at the least, this may, heading down this little trail may be revealing of the direct route to this point, which is what we want, the most direct route to Mummy's Head. And there's the V up ahead, and I know we need to pass through that, so it remains to be seen how this trail, which is leading up in this direction, is going to hopefully circle around and hit that V. Okay, we may end up calling this video the discovery of the Mummy's Head Trail. There is the V right up there that we're heading for, and as you can see, the sun is right in the center of it, so that'll be special. But wow, we've got a really good trail, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this ends on the downhill, where it spills out into the Lee Canyon Road area, which will make the next trip up to this point much more streamlined. We'll get here a lot more quickly and probably be able to ascend much further. But for now, this is the discovery of the Mummy's Head Trail, if there is such a thing. And that short-lived trail is descending now into, you guessed it, the wash. So, yeah, it was nice while it lasted. Looks like we're going to be back in the wash, but at least we'll be on a main route. And maybe there will be more signs of passage, some cairns ahead. We don't know. There is one cairn right up here on the trail. Hopefully that's not the last one. And that's on the downhill. We just need to find this on the way back to have a more streamlined approach. So here we go down into the weeds. Okay, this is the good sign. We're seeing lots of cairns emerging. This log, as a matter of fact, has 3 cairns on the log. And then there's a cairn ahead. So hopefully these cairns will continue. And on the way down, at least, they'll guide us to this point in the wash where the trail, the main trail, begins on the way down, at least. So let's continue on. These are good signs. Okay, now looking down the wash, what I'm gathering is that those cairns I just passed are saying to people that are descending the wash, hey, you've reached the point where you need to ascend that ridge and then continue on down on the trail that is in the center of that ridge. Now, since we're going up, the question is, okay, what's the direction up? I don't see any cairns here, but what I'm thinking is that the trail on the ridge gets climbers up to the wash at this high point, and then you take the wash beyond this high point in the trail, and we'll see what happens after this. But I'm not seeing anything that just yet that indicates that you should do anything other than stay in the wash, but we'll see. Another cairn in the wash. So what this is telling me is that what I said just a moment earlier is likely correct, that you're in the wash until you reach those lower cairns, and then you head up to the ridge on the way back. And on the way up, you're in the wash. Sometimes a cairn will mark a point where you ascend from an area onto a trail, but I'm not seeing that just yet, so I'm going to continue in the wash. Another cairn ahead. So that verifies what I thought earlier, that it's this wash above the 3 cairns on the log that we saw below that direct you to the ridge and the nice little trail. It's the wash above that log, and it's the trail below that log. So let's continue on up this wash. Another cairn in the wash, and I gotta say, sometimes cairns indicate you're on route. Other times they indicate this is the place where you turn right or left. And so I explored up above on the north side of the wash, and on the north or the left side when you're heading up. And it looks like there's a little trail here. And it looks like I could have been on this little trail earlier. So, yeah. There was a crossover point somewhere down there where you cross over from, remember we were on the far side of the wash on the ridge, which Actually, you can see the ridge where we meet with the trail on the way down. That's where you ascend the ridge, right about that area. And we were on the south side of the wash as we were on that ridge. Then we descended, that trail descended, and there were some cairns on a tree, 3 cairns. And we traveled in the wash for a while, but maybe, just maybe, there's a route that's above the wash and we could have missed all these boulders. I don't know. All I can say is that it's probably going to send me back into the wash either way, and whatever trail there is just skirts around sections of this rocky bouldery wash. The V we're looking for is right up through this area, and so we're heading in the right direction, and this wash actually must originate somewhere up near the top of that V. So we are on course, and of course we are not wanting to go in that direction. Cliffs all around. There is the land that time forgot, cone, where the forest resides. Who knows what's up there? Totally isolated from all other plant and animal life up there. So let's continue on up this little trail until it sends me back into the wash. Then we'll continue to ascend the wash right up through this area, which hopefully the sun will be a little higher in the sky and will not be blinded to the route ahead. Okay, onward. Okay, the wash branches. What looks like a main branch of this wash branches off to the right. That's not looking too hopeful as far as ascending to our goal, because as you can see, it ends at the base of those cliffs, and there's quite a huge dry fall, vertical, up a little ways. But more hopeful is this direction, the left branch, and what makes it hopeful is 2 things. One is it's heading toward the V up there, so that's good. And the second thing is there's a cairn on the log right up here. I've got a lot of glare on my screen, so I'm not sure if I'm actually showing that cairn, but there is a cairn up there telling us to take the left branch. So let's continue upward. And by the way, looking down, it's always good to look back now and then to get your bearings. And what I see right over here is Black Rock Sister. And down in this direction, the ridge where that nice little trail was. So as I'm coming down this wash, I want to look for that ridge, because that's where we're going to send the ridge and then take the trail, which should make the rest of the descent easier, at least for part of it. And then we're looking out up the Highway 95 corridor that goes toward Reno. So anyway, there you have it. And continuing on up this left branch of the wash, and it looks like there's a little bypass right here which we'll take to avoid some of these huge boulders. Well, I reascended out of the wash. Looks like there are a number of potential routes. There's the wash, but boy, that looks all choked up with logs and boulders. And here I find a little cairn. and it looks like there's a trail ascending. And as I look back, it looks like I could have been on this little trail descending, but you know, it's really hard to tell. You just have to pick your route along the way. It's very experimental. Of course, the next time I come up this way, it'll be a lot quicker to get to this point, and we'll be able to ascend a lot further. But for this time, yeah, we're exploring what looks like the best route to the Mummy's Head area. And the lower part of this route, we're just above 9,000 feet. Oh, by the way, here's another cairn. What do you know? So these seem to indicate that, yes, you head up that direction outside of the wash, or maybe it means that you continue up the wash. We don't know. We'll just have to experiment and find out. Yeah, I just noticed there are two cairns here. This one and this one. And normally when you see two cairns, they're saying go between the two cairns. So that indicates we head up in this direction. We shall see. And by the way, the wash is just south of us. There is the wash. It looks like there's somewhat of a little trail that goes back down into the wash. So I'm going to head up this way. I've had enough boulders and logs and wash for now. So let's do this. And it looks like it's a direct route up to that V up ahead. Another cairn, indicating that when I diverged north of the wash and headed up this direction, that yes, this seems like a valid route, unless the cairn builder was wrong. We'll find out. By the way, the wash that I was in is to my right or south, and you can see there are limited ways to ascend Mummy's Head. I think if we were up on top of that cliff, we would be on Mummy's Head. So it gives you an idea how far we have to go. We're going to go a bit further and just really nail this lower portion of the main route, and then streamline it on the next trip. It looks like we're in that band of trees leading up to the V that we saw from Sisters North below on the other side of Lee Canyon. And to verify that, and also looks like we're on a somewhat of a trail here. But to verify that this is what we saw from Sisters North, we turn around and there you have it. There is Sisters North. Sisters South to the left, Max Peak to the right. So it appears, yes, we are on course, ascending through the band of trees, and all we need to do is see if this band will take us, whoops, see if this band will take us all the way up to the V. That'd be nice. Well, I'm at my turnaround point for today. So let's see if we can streamline the route back. And then when I return to this point, and it may be next summer, not sure. When I return to this point though, I'll get here a lot more quickly and be able to ascend much further. And this is what things are looking like ahead. This spot looks a little rugged, so it's a good place to turn around, but definitely not impossible. I see ways around this rise. One is right here. And anyway, once we get up another 100 or so feet, looks like things level off a little bit. So, yeah, this is a good route. And I would say this is the main route. It leads, you're looking straight at the V up ahead, and you're looking at the band of trees that you saw from North Sister across Lee Canyon, and the South Sister, which are right in the center there. So, yes, definitely we are en route, and we are about 9,200 feet elevation at this point. So we've got a ways to go before we reach the summit. But if I can reach this on a longer day of the year and reach it sooner, we've got a good chance of getting all the way to the V and then onward. Either you turn left at the V and ascend a sharp high point that is left or north of the V, or you turn right at the V and ascend to Mummy's Head. And there we're looking straight at the band of forest that goes through the V. Okay, so that concludes our upward ascent. Now let's see if we can really streamline this approach on the way down. Here we go. Well, we're back at the log with the 3 cairns, which is the marker for that ridge descent trail. This time we'll take it as far down as we can. We caught it halfway up. We're going to take it as far down as we can and see where it lands. If it lands at Lee Canyon Road or Avalanche Trail Road, that would be awesome. Save us a lot of wash navigation, rocks and logs. So here we go. Okay, there's a cairn that we've seen before, which means that this is not too far after we came up out of that wash below to the north and ascended to this ridge and found this nice trail. So now everything is new. We're going to see where this trail on the ridge takes us. And hopefully it's going to be all the way back. And here's a look back up to that V opening. You see it right there, and couldn't see it earlier because of the sun, the position of the sun. So, yeah, it gives a clearer idea of the route as you just go up through that V, and eventually you're hugging the cliffs on the right, the base of the cliffs on the right as you summit that V. And then you can either go left, which puts you up in this area, or you can go right, which puts you up to Mummy's Head. Okay, we've lost a lot of altitude on this trail. It's been very good. Now it looks like there are 2 choices. Here's a cairn, and it looks like one could just cross over this wash and then head down and maybe find that road that I was on earlier. Or you could continue off in this direction to the left or south of the wash as we're heading down, and see where this leads. I know that I could connect with that road in this direction. In fact, I'm thinking I may have actually crossed the wash right down in this area. So what I'm going to do now is I'm angling over in this direction where it looks like the trail continues, because I want to see where this comes out. So here we go. Okay, more cairns. So they're leading down into the wash, or maybe we're still above the wash. I don't know. Maybe the ridge is just widening. But remember what I said about 2 cairns. You travel between them. Let's try that, because here are 2 cairns right in front of us. And let's just imagine this trail, or this route, continues down. So here we go. Cairns continue to guide the way, and looking through the trees up ahead, I'm seeing what looks like Lee Canyon Road and the parking area where I began. Let's take a zoom in there. So that would make this a much more streamlined approach to Mummy's Head, at least to as far as I got today. This is important just to give you an idea what you would see were you on your way up this ridge in this nice little trail. You see the V up ahead, and you'd just be heading for the V, and as you ascended, eventually you would be hugging the right edge or the south edge of a wash, and that's where something that looks more like a trail than these rocks look. That's where that would appear, and that'll take you all the way to that wash with the cairns on the log, and then you ascend up that wash and then split off to the left in a bit to end up where I ended up today. So that streamlines your way up to the V, and it has taken me probably, I'd say less than an hour to get to this point. It's about a third the time that it took me ascending as I was weaving my way through all those washes on the way up. Okay, even though this trail has abundant cairns, I'm going to head down more straight down the ridge above that wash because it looks like I'm veering off course a bit on this little trail, and the trail is getting a little more iffy anyway. So I'm going to head more straight down and see where we end up. We should be crossing Avalanche Trail Road soon. Well, here we've landed on Avalanche Trail Road. The question is, where on Avalanche Trail Road are we? And I'm going to guess that we want to head toward Sisters North. So I'm going to veer a little bit to the right and continue on down here below Avalanche Trail Road. Where did we summit Avalanche Trail Road? Well, I'm thinking that actually this area right in here is perhaps where we left Avalanche Trail Road and continued upward. I'm not sure. I think it might have been a little further south on Avalanche Trail Road. So at any rate, we're going to head down toward Lee Canyon Road and see where we come out. And the important thing is finding this area again, because if you're on Avalanche Trail Road and you reach this point, what you want to do is you want to continue upward, and eventually you're going to be skirting you'll be on a ridge skirting a pretty substantial wash to your left or north. And you want to hug that ridge all the way up, and then the trail will appear. So, yeah, look at the signs here. There's a little tree that was burnt and is just looking like a nice signpost right now. Here is a stump, and let's continue down toward Lee Canyon Road. I'm thinking that, if anything, we need to veer a little bit to the right, but we'll find out. Okay, we are closing in on Lee Canyon Road. The only question is, how close are we to where the beast is parked? I'd like to nail it right on the nose and emerge onto Lee Canyon Road right at the beast. But we don't know. So let's find out. There's Lee Canyon Road directly below. I do not see the parking area, so we may be, I bet it's a little bit to the right. Somewhere down in there. Well, let's just see. Okay, we are crossing the wash now. There's that huge wash that we crossed on the way up. And there's the parking area. Let's see if we nail the position of the beast. So we'll take a look when we get up the other side of this wash. And by the way, yeah, here is the wash between us and Lee Canyon Road. And you see those orange posts ahead, snow markers. Yeah. We'll emerge the other side of the wash right at those orange markers, and we'll see if we can see the beast from there, or how close we got to the beast. Okay, orange markers. We're just about ready to top this area. It's pretty loose gravel here, so if you suddenly see blue sky, you'll know that after everything I've been through, I bit it. Okay. And guess what? There is the beast. So we came through the wilderness, came out, emerged from the exact spot where we entered the wilderness. Just to give you an idea, Lee Canyon Road, the wash we crossed earlier, and let's see. And we went up that band of trees there. We got close to the V passageway there for Mummy's Head. There's the land that time forgot forest up there in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by sheer cliffs. So yeah, we nailed it. So next time we'll head back up that way, and we will hopefully shorten the whole trip and be up there close to that V in about half the time, giving us time to continue onward. So that concludes our second exploration of Mummy's Head. Third may be this spring, we don't know.